Even before I created this channel, as a paranormal investigator, I had dedicated myself to dealing with cases of friends, acquaintances, and family members who believed they were living paranormal experiences. This work in general was based on giving a more common explanation to the things they believed they lived. For example, it is not a ghost, it's just a shadow, or it was only a product of the wind. Why am I doing this? As the older subscribers know, in my life I have already experienced several paranormal phenomena. In fact, I managed to record one of these cases and uploaded it to this channel. Because of those experiences, I have some idea of what they are like and what it feels like when these things happen in real life. Now, with this channel, I have had the opportunity to analyze extremely interesting cases that all of you have sent to my different networks. However, all the previous videos that we have presented have been temporary cases where I cannot always reach the person to have an update on their story. However, of all the cases that have been sent to me, I have managed to follow up on 3 of them. 3 subscribers who, with their permission, are allowing me today to make a video telling their story and presenting my conclusions so that together we can give them the best advice. Robert, Mark, and Vanessa is the name of these 3 file cases that I have followed for months, and that today you will have the opportunity to see. 3 very real cases that I know will make your hair stand on end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present 3 creepy horror stories that happened to my subscribers. Number 3. The first case corresponds to a subscriber who only wanted to identify himself as Robert. He never revealed what country he is from, nor where he lives. In fact, he told me that Robert is only a pseudonym, since for personal reasons he prefers to hide his identity, especially since he is an adult and does not trust the internet much. But what he did want to reveal to me have been the strange situations that he has experienced lately. He has seen my videos and wrote to me interested in a subject that he is completely oblivious to. In his first email, he tells me that for 4 months, he has no explanation about how everything started. Suddenly, from one day to the next, at work, he witnessed something that he had never seen. In his city, he runs a family business, a kind of entertainment center with pool tables. One day before opening, when he was alone with his mother, something happened that changed his life forever.
Bueno chicos, esto es lo que acaba de pasar recién ahorita. ¿Ven? Se cayó sin que nadie lo toque. Y hoy día siendo Día de los Muertos, me sorprendí, un poco de miedo, me fui a ver si había alguien. No había nadie, el negocio estaba cerrado. Y comencé a recoger los chicles, los caramelos que tenía en la botella de plástico. Justo entra mi mamá y le digo que se cayó solo. Y la verdad que para mí es un fantasma o un alma. Pero alguien golpeó el mostrador. Alguien golpeó el mostrador, no hay nadie. El billar yo abro a partir de las 9:30 de la mañana. Y la verdad que me puse a recoger todos los caramelos y los chicles que se habían caído. Pero fue en mi presencia. Fue algo que me sorprendió. La verdad que es algo, no sé, fuera de lo normal.
He tells us that just before the jar fell, someone hit the counter, and minutes later, this incident occurred. After this recording, his experience was about to be forgotten, until he felt someone whisper in his ear. Has an insect ever flown past your ear and you feel the wind from its wings? Well, that's how he described it. A whisper so close that he felt the icy wind of its words. What did he hear? Well, he believes he heard a name, but could not distinguish it well. I responded to his email since the description of the whisper is something that shook me. It is not the first time that someone gives me this exact description. I asked him to record anything that happened. It doesn't matter if it was a coincidence, but to document it. I didn't hear from him until December 22nd, 2020, a couple of weeks from his first video. This time it was an email written in a much more disturbing tone. In it, he tells me that one night, while outside the establishment where he works, a subject began to signal him from the street corner. There was no one else, so he approached, thinking that he was an acquaintance. But it wasn't. He was a strange man who was somewhat disoriented. According to Robert, the subject was tall, bald, with very white skin, and dressed in a black and white suit. The subject asked the time and some directions, to which Robert answered without hesitation. However, in a moment of distraction, Robert looked away for a few moments, and when he turned back around, the subject had inexplicably disappeared. Of course, he thought that the subject had walked away, that he did not have to be scared. That was when he marked my words, and took this coincidence as something real, and checked each of the security cameras to see if he found something else. The result of that search convinced both him and me that there is an entity that has performed the focus. The focus is when an entity, we don't know whether a spirit can do this, has a fixation on a particular person for some unknown reason. The video you're about to watch will go straight from his security camera to your screen for the first time. Very worried, Robert told me that he does not think that he is mentally unbalanced. He knows what he saw. He still remembers the person, and it was someone he had never seen before. He tells me that he has already scheduled an appointment with a psychologist since he fears that it may be an episode of psychosis. I replied that that was the most logical thing to do, for him not to be scared and to choose the most sensible option. In that case, his first video was nothing more than a coincidence. I didn't get any responses from him until a month ago. One night, checking my email, I came across a new message from him. A short message that simply said, "I am alone." They closed the door from the other side. The dog felt it too. I do not know the mental state of this man. I wrote to him to have an update on his case, but for now I haven't received an answer. I don't know how it went with the psychologist, but I assume from the brief email he sent me, he seems to keep hearing and seeing things, and recording at all times to rule out that he may be going mad. Did you also see something? Apparently, Robert didn't see anything, but as soon as he opens the door, a strange white spot comes out of the room. Is this evidence a mere coincidence? Or could it really be a mental illness? Put yourself in his shoes. Put yourself in his place. And tell me, how would you feel if you see and hear things, but the evidence you manage to obtain is neutral? I can only imagine how lonely he must feel. Maybe no one believes him. Number 2. When it comes to paranormal phenomena, undoubtedly there are people who are more perceptive than others. According to many books on this subject, a lot depends on the emotional state you are in, although what I say is still part of an assumption about lived experiences and has no scientific support to back it up. You most likely know these things are almost irreplicable, and if you can't replicate something, for science, it just doesn't exist. And that's fine. But not for everyone. Not for those who live these things and have no answers. You stay in an abyss within yourself. And that is exactly the situation that is affecting Mark, one of our subscribers. Mark's older sister is the one who is living one of the most uncomfortable experiences that can happen to you in your life. The focus. She did not want to reveal her name, so from now on we will call her Claire. Claire is a student who currently works as an intern in the customer service area at a food company. Mark tells me that one day she came home somewhat strange. He quickly gathered the family and said that he had seen a recording of her surveillance camera installed outside the food warehouse. Nobody understood anything. Scared, she said it was 3 in the morning when they recorded this. Before you see this video, just in case, I will ask you to be in a neutral emotional state. Please avoid having fear or any dark feelings before, during, or after the video. From what little is known about the focus, is that these entities can create connections or fixations with anyone who sees them for the first time. It is unknown if that same link can be created through a screen. Seriously, I myself have experienced paranormal things. I personally have seen real specters, and the cold sensation it causes, the cold that runs through you, is never repeated. For years, I have not experienced that sensation again, except with this video. I ask you to look at it cautiously, as we do not know how these things operate in real life. For Claire, just looking at that image of that thing on screen, it was enough for that to appear in her own home. Are you ready? View at your own risk. Mark told me that strange things have started to happen in his house. Things that luckily both he and his parents have not noticed, but that are happening to his sister. He says that she's very depressed. Her spirits are low. Everything she consumes upsets her stomach. She drops things and is very clumsy. But the most shocking things are the situations she has experienced. She told him that one afternoon she saw a figure speeding through her room. Unfortunately, it happened so fast, and she did not manage to record it. To this day, she does not know if that really happened, or if she just imagined it. Therefore, in my response to him, I told him the exact same thing as to Robert, to tell his sister to record everything as soon as she felt that something was going to happen. At the slightest sensation, at the slightest noise, for her to start recording. Just 1 week after our contact, he wrote to me again, telling me about a recording that his sister made. He says, one day while she was home alone, she began to record after hearing a sound coming from the walls. Look at what she captured.
Y el ruido se escuchó aquí. Entonces salí a ver y pensé que me estaba jugando una broma y nada. Todo el rato nada de nada, ¿viste? Entonces, ¿cómo carajos pudo haber...
She says she didn't touch a glass, and that in fact, she didn't even know where the glass came from. If we replay the recording, it is possible to notice that there is no glass on any of the shelves.
¿Cómo carajos pudo haber...
Merv tells me that nobody knows what to do. Somehow, that being that was observed in the surveillance camera seems to have clung to his sister. They had never experienced something like this, much less something paranormal. And although they are not close to any religious belief, they are seriously considering calling a priest. Do you believe in the existence of the focus? Do you think something like this is possible? Number 1. We conclude this video with a case that is in development. It is very recent. Its first email dates from April 15th. It is a story that Vanessa La Torre sent to my email. Vanessa says that Jorge Ortiz, her husband, works as a security guard in a former public health facility located in the city of Popayán, Colombia, an establishment that, according to her husband, has gained fame among workers for multiple occurrences of intense paranormal activity on the premises. Although she confesses that both she and her husband do not believe in these things too much, what Jorge captured at dawn during work, he simply describes as inexplicable. Observe. Vanessa says that on that occasion, her husband did feel fear when something was seen through the monitor, a strange sensation that still to this day he cannot find the words to describe. Although he reaffirms his disbelief regarding paranormal things, he does admit that what he saw in the image and what he felt when he saw it is something that he had never experienced before. As for me, I'm not sure if it is something really paranormal, or maybe an insect very close to the camera. The one thing I answered was for her to be attentive to any other event, and to start recording as soon as she suspects something. In order to not sound alarming, I did not want to tell her at the time that unlike how horror movies show it, generally, shadow entities, when they are seen, they look like this. Like white dust, this being the reason why in popular culture they are usually represented as someone wearing a white cloth. I will keep in contact with these people and will be informing you of any updates. I hope you like this video because we have come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this was The Darkest Secret.